Okay, so like the allegory of Plato's cave.
Right.
Okay.
The Ramchal, who is pretty much the source of a lot of this kind of thinking, saw it the other way around. So he saw that if everything is God, and we can, so let's take it a step farther. So you have the Maimonidean argument about seeing God through nature, or let's put it through logical analysis. You can come to an argument about God. You can sift out God from the noise of natural existence.
Yeah.
If you could see beyond, that's like when the classical imagination of people, image of people meditating. They close their eyes.
Yeah.
And they achieve transcendence.
Yeah.
So the Ramchal said, no, it's the other way around. You see, God could have equally created a world that we can't understand. Right? I mean, so the fact that we exist in a system, in a world that makes sense, that we can see, that we can understand, that we can comprehend, that we feel that we can exist in, that we can do what we have to do. That means that it was created with understanding because God wants us to understand the universe. And recognizing that within the universe, in every aspect, if God didn't want it to exist, it wouldn't exist. It wouldn't be. That means that within everything in the universe, if we only knew how to read it right, we would find God.
Okay.
So every time you eat an apple and make the right bracha over it,
Mm-hmm.
you can achieve cosmic unity. It's all there. The God, the universe, all that. It is you should be able to, or you can, find that holy spark in everything around you, even in you. And that's where we've mentioned this before in the Hasidic thought. It's very central that the challenges to spirituality. Let's say, you're talking once about problems with various relationships and love. So when those go off track, the writing of them is to recognize that even that they are spiritual energy that is flowing in the wrong direction, but that really it's not to go like and turn away, but rather what's in it.
Yeah.
The fact that I can love this passionately, that I could feel this strongly, means that within that is real. That is the take that to God. It's like the midrash about Yaakov, right? It says that when Yaakov saw Yosef, right, for so many years he thought his son was dead.
Yes.
His beloved son. Finally, he sees him and he's king of Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So he gives him a hug, and the midrash says that he said Shema at that time. What a strange. Wait, he couldn't say Shema before, like. He didn't go to shul in the morning. Why is he saying Shema? He suddenly needed to say Shema at the time that he's, hugging his son that he hasn't seen in, 13 or something years. So the answer is no. The overwhelming spiritual experience that the overwhelming feeling that he had at that moment, he wanted to take that and direct it to God. So so when you see the world in that way, right? The message of the meditation on Hashem Echad is that this is not something outside of God. This is the things that I've been through, or that I've felt, or that have challenged me. I have to learn to cognitive psychology. I have to reorient them into what they really are.
Yeah, I've heard that like some really religious people, when they have sex, they're thinking about God and like unity and
well, the Jewish mysticism is like erotic literature. I mean,
right.
It describes this stuff very graphically. I mean,
right.
When you do a mitzvah, the Zohar language and the Lurianic language is Mayim Nukvin. I mean, essentially, gets wet. Wet, feminine waters is aroused. And I don't know, I think that's actually beautiful. I mean, why, it's only a certain perspective that sees here. So it's actually, right, in talking about, in a representation of that same concept, which text is this? It's in another Sefer. Oh, in Chesed Lavram. So he explaining this same concept of Kriyat Shema and recognizing what the unity of everything means, and that's why he says, incidentally, that's what love means. That's why the next word is V'ahavta, because he says this is an important idea. Yadua ki kol echad v'echad miYisrael olam katan. So the idea following with this idea is that, furthermore, all of the way that God created the universe and everything that happens in the universe and all the higher worlds, lower worlds, mystical connections, all of these things, male, female, all of those angles are reproduced in parallel in the human, in the person. Every person is the entire universe.
That's certainly basic Mishnaic and Jewish teaching. Every person is a universe.
Well, but no, that's so. Yeah, well, they, my Rav in Israel wrote a lot of Sfarim, and he was famous for this, being able to take, he took a lot of midrashim and other things that are standard, and show how their natural progression was in the Lurianic literature. So it's not a contradiction. That's what they were reading. I mean, when they said these things, they weren't making it up out of their heads. They were working out of Chazal. So yes, every individual, the Gemara says in Sanhedrin that every person's a universe, and that is what they're saying. And the same challenges in the universe, of good over bad, correcting the universe, reordering, bringing it all, that game, that the universal plan of elevating the world to the next level of holiness. The same thing that's going on in the universe at large is going on within each and every individual. And these are the challenges. So he says that when a person gets into a state where they look at themselves and they say, God, what have I done? How am I? How can I do these things? How can I fix the horrible things that I've done in my life? He has to realize that really it's all connected in a great big parallel manner, and this is the sorrow of the universe and the sorrow of history, all of those things, and parallel with the sorrow of the individual, and recognizing that the individual and the soul is part of this greater, is one with this greater, with God essentially, is the root to being able to salvage that, to pull oneself up, to transform oneself.
So that's kind of the opposite of self-abnegation and the I'm a horrible person, I'm just dust and ashes.
That's the step. So the two are in so it's a dialectical relationship. One realizes that one is that something is off, but it doesn't mean that the response is not I've been a terrible person, I have to go fling myself out the window, but that I am a terrible person. But Ba'asher Husham, from that space, from that broken spot, suddenly one has the recognition of their own, of the divinity within, of the spark that they have within themselves. And through that, one can then, here, it says it explicitly. He says, V'ahavta et Hashem Elokecha. Why does God care if we love Him? It's like, would you care if an amoeba loved you?
No.
If the ant crawling under your thing had some great love for you,
no. What all I care about is that hot girl at yoga. Does she love me?
So he says here explicitly. So the Baal Shem Tov apparently taught